Jeff Gordon elected the inside for this start. And right against that yellow line is where he maintains his lead. Rookie Ryan Blaney in the Ford is second. Casey Kane, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart up the outside.
You know, the favorite won the Kentucky Derby, the favorite won the fight last night. I gotta believe the favorite, that 24 car, is a pretty darn good shot at winning this race today.
Unlike the Xfinity Series race yesterday, no rules about bumping or pushing in the Sprint Cup Series. You gotta be a little careful though, but there's no rules against it.
Gordon moves up to pick up his teammate, Casey Kane in the 5. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, and now drops back down to cover the spot as Blaney advances in that red and white number 21.
You see the 4 Hendrick cars there, the 24, the 48, the 5, and the 88 with that 21 with Ryan Blaney right in the middle of those guys. And remember, that's the car that took Trevor Bayne to victory in the Daytona 500 a couple years ago.
In that third lane, way on the outside of the number 6 for Roush Fenway Racing, trying to make something happen in the third lane to the outside.
He has about 7 or 8 drivers behind him, and it just looks like right now that inside line that Jeff Gordon and the 24 is pulling, they keep kind of inching away, although Casey Kane in the 5 is trying to bring that group up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to Dale Jr. about this in our interview we did yesterday, how much harder it is to side draft with this new car, with this particular car. You get up there, you get the side draft, but you can't blast past the guy like you have in the past.
This track is 10 years newer than Daytona International Speedway. They banked it steeper, they made it longer, but most importantly, they made this track wider than Daytona. There's plenty of room to race here.
Well, I hesitate to say this, but this place is a whole lot easier to run on and race on than Daytona is. Daytona very narrow, like you said. Here very wide, kind of like a 2-lane road at Daytona and an interstate here at Talladega.
Riding with Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola just ahead.
Like you mentioned, Trevor Bayne in that 21 car. And remember, he started all the way back in the 26th position. He's about to crack the top 10 after 3.5 laps.
Larry, where do you think Jeff Gordon is headed here? I mean, he was up front and now all of a sudden moved up, got passed by a bunch of cars. You think he's just trying some different lines?
I don't know. I don't see him working his way to the back because there's no way to work to the back right now.
No, it's funny though that I think he's actually experimenting just a little bit here right now, trying to see how far back he can go, or if he can go back a little ways and then pull himself back to the front. Not a bad thing to do early on when the cars are about stuff like this, because this is what we're going to see at the end of the day.
So Gordon goes from the inside to the outside, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the blue car, jumps right up in front of Gordon, leaving Tony Stewart out front against Casey Kane. Stewart in the 14, Kane in the 5, 2 Chevys against the Ford of Ryan Blaney. Vince Welch.
Well, Ryan Blaney, the second car in that bottom line. This is just his 6th Sprint Cup Series start. Their strategy, staying up front, trying to avoid getting shuffled out. But they said they really want to hug the bottom and stay in line, don't make any crazy moves, earn the respect of the veteran drivers. And by doing that, staying up front, they feel like at the end of the day, if they can do it, they might still have a shot.
I just always believe at Daytona and Talladega, that yellow line is your best friend. If you get down there on that yellow line, no one can pass you on the inside.
The only friend he has, possibly, is that white car in the middle, Brad Keselowski. That's the only other Ford up at the front, the number 2.
Well, yeah, but remember my favorite word when it comes to Daytona and Talladega, competition. You'll work with anybody. I don't care if you're driving a Studebaker, if he can push you to the front.
I know what looks good right now. I know it's early, but how about Tony Stewart, that 14 car out front? He wants to stay out front. You look at his last 4 finishes at a restrictor plate race outside the top 30.
That 24 is doing exactly what I thought he could do. He went back, picked up some help, and now he's pushing himself to the outside. We're 3 wide here in the 1 and 2. And Jeff Gordon up on the outside is pulling he and the 3 car right along with him.
It's Austin Dillon. Gordon was so strong in qualifying. He had 3/10 on the field, Darrell. Who wouldn't want to work with him? He's got the fastest car.
Well, that statistic that you said at the opening there about him being 3/10 quicker than the second place car, and the second place car back to the 21st place car is not that close. Unbelievable. That's why I think that makes him the favorite. If you got to pick a favorite today, he's got the best horse.
These cars were
You're pulling off road like you did.
sounded that Long Island accent sounded like Eddie DeHaan, Jeff Gordon's spotter.
Said he was cooling off a little bit. Got these things taped up pretty tight, and like Larry mentioned, it's a lot harder today than what we have seen here. Get in a big traffic park like this, those tips will shoot up in a hurry.
Right now, we have 3 wide, about 8 rows deep. In fact, we have about 28, 29 drivers within a second of each other.
And trust me, turbulence in the pack, back in behind the cars here in the middle of this pack, 3 and 4 wide, the turbulence is shaking that car all over. The hood, the roof, the whole car is vibrating.
Kevin Harvick back at 18th, Daytona 500 winner Joey Logano back at 26th. But all within 1 second of Tony Stewart, who leads this 9th lap at Talladega. Stewart started the season with a lot of optimism, felt good about his race team and his car. Been a good bit of aggravation for Stewart since, but now he is the leader at Talladega.
Oh, he got a new helmet this week too.